Okay, this is a look at Jumper. It stars Hayden Christensen, Samuel L. Jackson, Jamie Bell, and Rachel Bilson, and was directed by Doug Liman. Okay. The good? It's only about an hour and a half. The bad? Oh, where do we start? Okay, let's start with the whole setup of the movie here, which basically stipulates that there are three groups of people. There's normal people, these group of people known as jumpers, who can jump into, not jump, but I guess teleport into any place they've either been before or have seen in a photograph or can remember where they've been before. And a third group of people known as paladins, whose job it is to run down and hunt down jumpers. Okay, why are the paladins hunting the jumpers? Well, it's never fully explained. The theory seems to be that eventually they all go crazy. But that's only mentioned by the Samuel L. Jackson character, and he may in fact be lying or just be a sadistic individual. Second thing is, if these jumpers exist, how come the regular people haven't, noticed that, cars are disappearing, stoplights are disappearing, and that these people just sort of seem to materialize and dematerialize at will. Yeah, it's one of those movies that isn't working when you start thinking about things like this as you're watching the movie, because it's a lot more interesting than anything happening on the screen. Hayden Christensen plays a character named David, who discovers he can jump when he's 15, and then, minor spoiler alert here, he learns from his mother, who's also a paladin and left the family when he was 5, that he actually started jumping when he was 5. It's never explained why he jumped once when he was 5 and then forgot about it for 10 years. Then there's the Jamie Bell character, who's been jumping since he was 5 and has been hunting paladins, apparently for sport, because he doesn't seem to be part of any sort of organized organization of jumpers who are going to hunt the paladin to save their lives. And then there's the Rachel Bilson character, who's the damsel in distress, who, after seeing David 8 years after he disappears, in the course of about 5 minutes decides to go to Europe with him and visit Rome. So, it's definitely gaping in logic and explanation. There are hints of explanations at things in here, such as one of the characters mentions that the Spanish Inquisition and a lot of other things, terrible things throughout history, were the result of the paladin. So I guess that would mean that somehow the Catholic Church was involved, but then that's never fully brought up or discussed again, or I don't know. I'd like to think that the Catholic Church had better things to do than to hunt down people who can teleport. In all the grand scheme of things that people could do, it seems that teleportation wouldn't be such a bad thing. And Giovanna begins to think that once they realize that these paladins can follow the jumpers, that the paladins would have rather worked with the jumpers and hired the jumpers as transportation people, because they could just jump to anywhere else in the world, and to save a lot of people, who don't like to fly, that they could have made a business out of opening up the jumping wormholes the jumpers jump through and having people, jump through them. Again, when you're thinking about these things, the movie is clearly not working. It doesn't help matters much here that the performances here are all very, very kind of cardboard and two-dimensional, and Hayden Christensen sort of mumbles his way through here, and unlike when he was Darth Vader and it was cool that he was mumbling because he was Darth Vader, it doesn't work here, and the blatant stupidity of the Rachel Bilson character just kind of irked me, because Rachel Bilson, so last year or the year before, I can't remember, maybe the year before last year, she did The Last Kiss, and she was really good in there, and I understand that, she likes things like, shelter and food and clothing, but you kind of just want someone to try. And if Jamie Bell, Billy Elliott's sort of all grown up, and then his Jumper character and Hayden Christensen's Jumper character have that kind of Batman Superman fight towards the end of the movie, which is never fully resolved, like just about everything else in this piece of crap movie. The director was Doug Liman, who did a really wonderful job with his early films like Go and The Bourne Identity, and he brought that kind of like sexual tension out between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie wonderfully in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and he seems to just I don't know, it's just he also must have done this one just for the the money. I mean, there's really not all that much more I can say about this except that it sucks. Don't even bother renting on DVD. I guess it's based on a novel that apparently, from what I've gathered, basically has a couple character names and the basic concept of teleportation from the novel. That the stupid screen story was the invention of the screenwriters. So, if you want to spend time wondering whether if you can jump through time, you can also jump through space, or want to waste 90 minutes of your life in something that is never fully explained, and watch a bunch of relatively talented individuals just sort of mumble on screen, I guess you would like this movie. If you're like anybody else, I'd recommend skipping and not going anywhere within 10 feet of a movie theater showing Jumper. Thanks. Bye.